Hey everybody, it's F. Prey Wilson from the Yale School of Medicine here. Excited this morning about new news out of Pfizer about vaccine efficacy, and I thought it'd be a great time to talk to everyone about how we actually calculate vaccine efficacy using some of the numbers we got. So let's just walk through this here. What I've created here is what's called a contingency table. Sometimes it's called a 2x2 table or an epidemiologist table. And it lets us do some of the math for vaccine efficacy. So let's fill in some numbers here. So first of all, we know that there were 44,000 people in this randomized controlled trial, and that there was about 22,000 people who received the active vaccine and 22,000 people who received placebo. So far, so good. Now, from reporting from the New York Times and other outlets, we know that 170 of those people developed COVID-19. So a small percentage, because there hasn't been that much time that the trial's been going on, but enough to do some calculations. We also know that 162 of those 170 were in the placebo group, compared to just 8 in the vaccine group. So right away, right, like you can tell something's going on here. But let's figure out how we get to 95% efficacy. So knowing this, we can now do some simple arithmetic to fill in the other numbers. So we know that if there's 22,000 people total in the vaccine group and 8 developed COVID-19, that means 21,992 did not develop COVID-19. And we can do similar math in the placebo group. And now we have all the information we need to calculate vaccine efficacy. So first question, what percent of the vaccinated group developed COVID-19? Well, this is pretty easy. It's just 8 out of 22,000, which turns out to be 0.036%. It's a pretty small number. How about in the placebo group? Well, that's 162 out of 22,000, which is 0.74%. Now, I've put a little line in between these because I can compare the relative risk of getting COVID-19 in the vaccine group to the placebo group by taking 0.036 divided by 0.74%, and that gives me 0.049. In other words, people in the vaccine group have about 5% of the risk of developing COVID-19 in this trial as people in the placebo group did. That is a relative risk, not an absolute risk reduction. We talk about the difference in my free online course on Coursera, Understanding Medical Research. Your Facebook friend is wrong. Please join us. But when it comes to vaccine efficacy, we really are interested in that relative risk reduction because we want to know sort of on a population level how much we can reduce the rate of COVID-19 infection. Okay, so 0.049 relative risk reduction. To get to vaccine efficacy, we just do a simple 1 minus. Okay, it's just 1 minus the relative risk. So in this case, 1 minus 0.049, which is 0.951 or 95.1%. So that is how we are getting to this idea that the vaccine reduces the risk of COVID-19 infection by 95.1%. So I hope that makes it all clear. Really good, exciting news. This, as many people have said, just an outstanding efficacy number for a vaccine, any vaccine, frankly, but especially great in the COVID-19 pandemic. So thanks for joining me. And we do stuff like this and a lot more on the Coursera course. So come visit us there.